35 years ago, I conceived of a series of sculptures that were floating panels that looked like doorways, slowly opening and closing. But just as I was about to realize these pieces, the AIDS epidemic and my own HIV diagnosis interrupted my art making. So for the next 20 years, I spent my time and most of my energy taking care of myself, my dying friends and partners, and starting 2 nonprofits that helped my struggling community. When my health returned, I looked around and realized that most of my champions in the museum and gallery world had died during the epidemic, and it sort of felt like my gallery career had died with it. So my art practice shifted to large commissioned public sculptures, mostly located in hospitals. While that practice of over 2 decades has been extremely satisfying, I knew the project I was working on in the early 80s still wanted and needed to be made. Thankfully, an opportunity recently arrived when I was approached by the European Cultural Center to create a large piece for the Palazzo Bembo on the Grand Canal in Venice. Now, this is not a commission work like my hospital work. This is a piece that I'm doing for me and also as a healing and meditative space for the world. Now, as I approach my 70th birthday, the time has come to make these works. Works I am calling Sacro Bosco, the sacred grove. The frame around the piece is like a window into a mysterious forest. While the panels in this sculpture are flat, because of the colored gradations, a series of optical illusions are created. What is flat appears round, what appears to be in front is actually in back, and what appears to be moving towards you is actually moving away from you. The viewer is in a state of disorientation. It's a place of mystery. This sacred grove I'm creating is a meditation on a time in life when everything feels unclear, where one's path has become obscured. We have wandered lost in our own personal forest where it feels like we have no control over the events in our lives. Sacro Bosco is an invitation to accept that lack of control and get back in touch with the mysteries, the reverie, and the magic that the forest holds. When you move to the side of the piece, you see how the panels move. Then return to the front of the sculpture and you re-engage with the illusion. It's kind of like a puppet show. You know how it's done, but you're still entranced. Alongside Sacro Bosco will be my first investigation into virtual reality. It's called A Clearing in the Woods. In it, the viewer will be surrounded by 150 slowly moving gradated panels, sort of like the ones in Sacro Bosco. Whichever way the viewer turns, they will be surrounded by the slowly rotating panels, while shafts of light and shadow play upon the panels, the same way shafts of light permeate a deep forest. Sacro Bosco is the culmination and fulfillment of a lifelong dream, and one that will be shared by over 500,000 people who will be attending the Venice Architectural Biennale in 2020. I'm asking for your partnership in helping to manifest this piece for Venice and the world.